it's kind of hyperbole to say the state has abandoned the poor, because that would mean the entire welfare state has been closed down, which is probably the ambitions of a few people on the more radical ends of the right in this country. But it's abandoning the poor, whether that be, for example, the cuts to in-work and out-work benefits, to disability benefits, which has left disabled people stripped of essential support that they need, whether it be the sanctioning, the removing of, for example, job seekers allowance and other benefits for the most spurious of reasons. Over 1 million unemployed people sanctioned in the last 18 months or so. One of the main reasons we've seen the explosion in food banks, sanctioning as well as delays in payments. And this is the 6th richest country on the face of the earth. And the fact that nearly 1 million people now unable to afford to feed themselves is a matter of shame for all of us. Those are all the direct results of government policy, and let it not be forgotten that most people in poverty are in work, they earn their poverty. Work is not a route out of poverty in this country at the moment, and that's why, since this government came to power, over 1 million workers driven into poverty wages. So we need to fight for policies like a living wage, like a house building programme, like secure jobs through an industrial strategy, which will bring down social security spending, because it's things like housing and low wages and insecure jobs driving welfare spending going up the way it is. In terms of housing, what we desperately need is, for example, with councils, to lift the cap on borrowing with councils and shift our accountancy rules in line with Western Europe and other countries where local authority borrowing is not included in net public sector borrowing, so it doesn't need to add to our national debt, for example. That would create jobs, stimulate the economy, it would bring down the 5 million strong social housing waiting list, but it would also bring down the £24 billion a year or so housing benefit bill, which is often, it's not lining the pockets of tenants, it's lining the pockets of landlords, often charging rents people can't afford. We need to take on the affordable housing mantra. It's nonsense, it's rubbish. Affordable housing isn't, generally speaking, affordable for most people. 80% of market rents, it's particularly in many areas, is completely unaffordable. In some areas, like Richmond, you have to be on like £55,000 a year salary. The median income is £21,000 in this country. So we need to knock that one on the head. We need proper council and social housing, which is genuinely affordable, which people can actually afford. We need to fight for secure tenancy as well, and we need to control private rents and regulate them properly, like in other countries, to give people security of tenure. And also you have a reward of like good private landlords, rather than leaving people at the mercy often of bad landlords. So, and at the same time, we need to repeal policies like the bedroom tax. It hits 2/3 of home disabled, force people to spend money they don't have, to downsize to smaller properties that don't exist. And I'd like to see housing professionals take a leading role in opposing those sorts of policies and promoting the sorts of policies I've just been talking about, and sharing stories about what the impact on people's lives are, people who live in housing associations, for example, across the country, and what they're going through, because that's the most effective way of combating these injustices, but also putting the policies we need on the agenda.